All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on how people do not like to tell the truth, man, and how the color of the Messiah that's mentioned in the Bible shows that these people have got an allergy to the truth, right? And I'm going to go to some scriptures, man. So lucky. This is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. For the word of Yahweh is quick. Let me read that again. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when you're reading about the call of the Messiah, if somebody says that the call of the Lord don't matter, but then you read them that scripture that way it mentions the call of the Lord, and then all of a sudden they start talking about, oh, it don't mean this, oh, it don't mean that. That person is exposed, man, as a person that does not want anybody that's dark-skinned to receive any kind of glory in this world, man, which is really what all these people do anyway, man. Because when it came to the call of the Messiah being that image that's a lie, nobody ever asked to prove where it says in the Bible that he looks like that. But then when they see Hebrew Israelites with a sign that shows the Messiah as a dark-skinned person, right? And then they actually have a verse to prove it, but these people don't know it. They'll say, where in the Bible does it say that? Have you seen him? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? I haven't never seen him. So how would I know? Right? But they never had a problem with the other image, showing that these people are hypocrites and they're demons, man. Right? Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes was a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice of the sound of many waters. That's explaining a dark-skinned black man with hair that's like wool and a beard that's like wool, right? And dark brown skin and a loud sounding voice, man. That's what that verse 14 and verse 15 explains. But when you come to these Christians, right, and they hear this verse, they'll all of a sudden say, oh, when you burn this metal, it don't change this color, it don't change that color and all of this, right? When brass is brown. Brass is brown, and let somebody break into these people's houses, right? And then the description of the person was head and his hair was white like wool, right? And his eyes was a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if it was burned. If they said his skin was like brass that was burned, right? They're not gonna have no confusion about what kind of man needs to be arrested. They ain't gonna have no confusion on what colors things are then. These people never have a confusion on color whenever a so-called black person commits a crime. They all of a sudden know exactly who to point to, right? They know who's got woolly hair when it comes to mocking the hair, and they'll try and call it nappy hair and all of this stuff, but these same people would call Yahweh Shai's hair nappy too, right? They'd say the same thing about his hair. And these scriptures prove that these people just can't tell the truth, man. Because it's clear as day right here in the scriptures that the Messiah is dark-skinned and has hair exactly the same as how our hair is. But then when it comes to the woolly hair thing, these people will say, well, there's some Caucasian people that have white hair, have woolly hair, isn't there? But guess what? All so-called black people have woolly hair, 100% of us. All of our hair is naturally the texture of wool. All of us, man. All of our hair is the texture of wool. So why would the Messiah be some like, it's ridiculous. The lies and the lengths that these people go through to try and make the Messiah not be looking like us. But then when you understand that the Edomites are a nation in the Bible and what their destiny is, then you understand why they lie. Because they're fighting for their existence, man. But all of the lies is still not going to make no difference anyway. They're still going to get Obadiah off. They're still going to get Obadiah 1st chapter, 18th verse out of here, man. And good riddance too. Job chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? right? The earth, since the earth's been in the hands of the wicked, right? They've covered the faces of the true judges of the earth, and they've tried to make out like they're the Israelites and they're the chosen. Yet when you just look at what's happening with them, right, you can see that clearly they are not the chosen, because the chosen is supposed to be ending war taking place on the earth, not taking part in wars themselves. And I'm going to show the scripture to prove why I'm saying that. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And when you go up to the second verse and read the third verse as well, it's going into how when the Israelites are in rulership, right, for the final time, and they've got their kingdom established again, that these are some of the things that the Israelites are going to do. This is going to be part of their rulership, that there's going to be an end of war, right? That they're going to teach the laws to all the other nations on the earth. But when you hear these Christians and these so-called J-wish people, they ain't going into none of this, and the prophecy don't back up how they're living. How they are in the land don't look like an establishment of what it says in Ezekiel 36. It looks like the first part of Ezekiel 36 from Ezekiel 36. Let me show it. It looks like Ezekiel 36 verse 1 to verse 7. That definitely looks like what they're doing, right? But it don't look like the parts where it talks about. In fact, let me show it, man. Let me show it. I believe in verse 36 it says that the land of Israel is going to be like the Garden of Eden. Here we go. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 35. And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and inhabited. Well, they don't look fenced when you're having to shoot things into the sky to knock out drones. That ain't fenced, right? That ain't fenced to me. That's living shook. It says in the Bible that the Israelites are going to have no fear. But if you're having to do that, then there's definitely going to be fear. It says that God's going to wipe away all the tears from their eyes. So those people are not the chosen, man. And they don't match the color. In fact, I put up a video because there's this guy in the land of Israel that always goes around interviewing these people that live in that land, right, that claim to be the chosen. And he was asking them a thing about this thing that I've never heard before called the Three Oaths, which come from their fake book, right? That fake book that they've made up, right? But that's a thing that they're supposed to believe in, right? And he was asking them, how comes you're in the land when it says, according to these three oaths, that you're not supposed to go back to the land by force? You're not supposed to battle with the non-Israelites, with the non-Jews. You're not supposed to battle with them. And you're not supposed to come back to the land before the Messiah. That's part of that three oaths thing that they have, right? But then all of them kept saying, well, we're still waiting for the Messiah to come. That's what most of them kept saying. We're still waiting for the Messiah to come. But according to the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter, there's a timeline in when the Messiah is supposed to come. The first time round, right? And then the second time round when the Messiah is going to come, no man on earth knows the time. But there's things on the earth, there's prophecies on the earth, such as the Charagma, the MOTB, Civil War, World War III, right? That we can gauge somewhat when he is going to be coming, right? And we know that after World War III has reached its peak of where the ICBMs get shut off, then that is going to be the event that's going to cause for the Messiah to come. So when World War III is active to where every single country's got fear of other countries attacking them, that's how we're going to know that the return of Yahushua is very close, man. But people will hear these things, or they'll say the color of the Messiah don't matter, but knowing what he looks like will be a sign when the Messiah gets shown that it's actually the right Messiah that he was waiting for to see. Because it tells you, let me go to it. But because these people are so racist, right, according to skin color and not according to nationality, like the Bible does, right, they don't want anyone that looks so-called black to have any praise, man. The only praise they want us to have is if we're dancing, shucking and jiving, twerk machine, twerk demons, or if we're donking. They're happy for us to get praise for physical things, because you can't deny that we're the best physically no more. That's been completely overtaken, that we're the best physically. You can't deny that one. But they don't want to accept that we're smarter than them too. They don't want to accept that we've got a better moral code than them as well. They don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that the reason we're, even with the people that are among our nation that are wicked, that part of the reason why they like that is because they copy the people that run the countries that they're in. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail before him, even so a man. So part of even knowing when the Messiah is coming back is going to be knowing that he's coming with clouds, or with what we would say would be the chariots, but what this world would say would be UFOs, man. So if the Messiah, if they try and do a fake Messiah thing, operation or whatever, and they show the Messiah coming with some boats, and they try and film something over the sea, you'll know that ain't him. That's one of the ways you'll know that ain't the Messiah. You're lying. That ain't real, right? Verse 13 again, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. This is going to be a way how to know what the Messiah looks like, to know if it's a false Messiah or a real one, right? And his eyes was a flame of fire. Now, people always get caught up. So he's saying that. So he's saying his eyes were fireballs. Listen, man. What color is fire? Right? Fire can come in many colors. Right? Is it possible for somebody to have eyes the color of a regular flame? Is it possible for somebody to have an iris that color? Yes, it is. Yes, it is possible. And here it is. We're talking about a one-time individual, man, Yahweh Shai. There's nothing like Yahweh Shai on this earth, right? So him having eyes that color would not be a thing hard to believe anyway. That wouldn't be hard to believe, man. Fire's red. Fire's also an orangey brown color too. It wouldn't be hard for somebody to have a brown eye color. That's not hard at all. If you go on the internet and you type in people with the iris color like fire, you will see pictures of it. It's not hard to see. But these people get caught up and try and think they're smart and end up looking stupid. Verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass. If all of us brothers was to take off our socks, or if we got socks on, or take off our shoes, and we was to look at our foot, man, our foot looks like brass, or our foot looks like bronze, right? And if we was to go to a hot country, guess what? Our foot is going to get darker. Some of us might have been to countries that are hot before, and we end up several shades darker, man. I've went to a hot country before, way back, like a decade plus ago now, a long time ago now. And when I came back, I was significantly darker than what I am when I'm in just the UK, man. Significantly darker. Like several shades darker, man. So how much more if something's burned? If something's got the appearance like it was burned in a furnace? But these people don't want to acknowledge these things because they're just lying demons, man. And because they hate our guts. And they know that us being the Israelites means that there's a whole bunch of judgment that needs to go out for how these people have treated us, man. A whole bunch of it. And his feet like unto frying brass as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice to the sound of many waters. The so-called black man's voice, more than anyone's voice anyway, is deep, man, and rumbles. Our voices are, when you're talking on the phone to somebody, right? When you're talking on the phone to somebody, you can tell what nationality you're talking to based on the accent and based on the voice, man. If I'm talking on the phone to a so-called black man, I don't need to even see them to know that that's a so-called black man. I can tell by their voice, right? You can tell by the voice, man. It's a natural thing for us to have deep voices and loud sounding voices. Voices that rumble when we talk, right? But this world is just full of liars, man. So it's not no surprise that they're going to try and lie about this, but we've got the proof in the scriptures. We've got the proof in the scriptures, man, to show everywhere that they've tried to say it doesn't say the color of people in the Bible. We've got things to show more proof that it gives you more clues to what color the people were in the Bible. Plus, we match the prophecies of the Bible more than anyone else, because who else can you find on the earth that does this, what I'm about to read right now? Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call into mind among all the nations whither Yahweh thy power have driven thee, right? Are those people in the land of Israel doing that? Are they say, will you find them say that hollow thing, that hollow, you know, that that event that they always want to cry about, that they say happened, right? Will you find them saying that was a curse? Or that happened to us because we were sinning and we was going off and that was a curse? Will you find them saying that the reason why why everyone keeps telling them about themselves and saying things about them is because of the curses? Or have they just made up some word to try and make out like, oh, this is against, everyone's against us, but they're not saying that people are against them because they're cursed though. But we know that the reason why everyone's against us is because of the curses. Because at the same time that these people are against us, they stay using even the most base of our nation to promote their things. It's hilarious, man. As much as they say that they hate us, they stay copying us all the time and trying to be around us. And whenever anything's considered a good skill in this world, normally, right, it's because it matches what we can do. When someone's considered as being able to dance, it's because they can dance like how an Israelite dances. When someone's considered as being able to be smooth with women, it's because they're doing it like how an Israelite man would do it. When a woman's body type is considered as being, she's got a good figure and all of that, it's normally because she's got a physique that matches the Israelite woman's physique when she's on point. Normally when a woman's attractiveness levels is high, it's because her image matches somewhat what an Israelite woman's image matches, man. So it will be like a so-called African American woman's or Caribbean woman's body shape with a Latino woman's shade of brown maybe, and then their type of hair length and all that, and and a Native American woman's hair thickness. That's what it will be. The lips will be like an Israelite woman's lips, right? Everything in this world that's based on being of a high standard is normally based on what we do, man. Even a luxurious life is really based on how Israelites do it, man. When they get money, people base that luxurious life thing based on how Israelite rappers live, really. Like people, even though Floyd Mayweather wasn't nowhere near as rich as Elon Musk and all of these kind of guys, people would much rather live like how Floyd Mayweather lived than how he lives. They'd much rather have that life. People are way more fascinated by how Mayweather showed off his money than how those other rich people show off their money, and they've got way more money, significant amounts more money than what Floyd Mayweather's got. But even the luxurious life has been promoted by Israelites, man. A flashy life is really based on how Israelites live a flashy life, man. It's all based around us. But if you say that to these people, they ain't going to believe that. They ain't going to say, yeah, you're right. Because they're liars, man. And they hate our guts. And deep within their soul, they know that there is something special about us. But they don't want the thing that's special about us to be that we're Israelites. They'd rather it be that the Atlantic slave trade made us have genetics that just naturally now, because of all them years of slavery, have made us be physically gifted. They'd rather it be some BS like that. They wouldn't want to accept that slavery was because of things written in the Bible. You know? But then the people in the land of Israel, they don't even mention the curses. And that's mentioned in the Torah. But they don't mention Deuteronomy 28. They don't mention these things, man. They don't say that they never mention anything that bad that happens to them or that appears to be bad that's happening to them is because of the curses. They never say that because they don't want people to know about those curses. They don't want people to know about that. Isn't that strange? But I don't want to get off track, man. I'm gonna end the lesson there, man. The lesson was overall about how these people don't want to accept the Messiah's true color, man. Right? I'm gonna end the lesson there. Shalom.